Here comes the nasty gram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nasty Gram RPG podcast. This is Dark Legacy, episode 8, No False Idols.
Feeling it too hard is the poison to the heart of a cynic. Redemption. Now I'm waking to pain and shaking. My guts are running out, I'm slurring my speech.
Dr. Vunt, it has not been long since my last letter, but I thought it important to disclose to you the findings of my observations, ones that could be corroborated by others should you choose to weigh the truth of my words. It is my hope that the deviant thoughts that you diagnosed in me previously will be seen to have a grounding firmly here in reality. There are tangible connections between the horror of nightmares and the terrors that walk this earth. Those handprints in the improbable circumstance now have a connection. The murkiness of my memory and those of my companions now has a source. An individual has been revealed to us from the darkness, and the dots are beginning to connect, forming a constellation for the thing that has been lurking in the shadows and skulking our movements. And this collection of evidence has been witnessed by my peers. So unless you want to label them all as mad, one must at least leave the door open to the inexplicable. Our myths have been a means to explain these mysteries, but it is possible that some have had more truth than others, and simply others have been forgotten. If we cannot remember it, the question naturally arises, does it even exist? Perhaps that is something you can answer in this pursuit of yours, a principle of this new field of psychology. My travels continue now, down dark, forgotten tunnels, hoping to find the light of truth on the other side. As always, I would appreciate it if you keep my personal identity out of your research. Best of luck with the book, Doctor. Sincerely, Silas Keene.
Hey, this is Jake, your storyteller.
I thought we were doing Matt first.
No, next arc. We're not going to fucking change it halfway through.
Fine. Hey, everybody. This is Dan.
Start over. Cut.
Hey, everyone.
Episode 7, intros, take 3. Hey, this is Jake, your storyteller.
Hi, everyone. This is Dan playing Silas Keene, the photographer.
Hey, folks. This is John. I'm playing Noah Fashnacht, the gunsmith.
Hey everyone, this is Ryan. I'm playing Les Kershaw, who's maybe a wolf on fire.
This is Josh. I play Kingsley Burke, 1878, Secretary of the Interior.
And this is Matt playing Benton Beauclaire, the voodoo chef.
All right, and last game you actually proved that you are a chef.
Yeah, he rolled real low. Not as good as Click.
It's going to be the name of your restaurant, Voodoo Chef.
Right. You haven't actually voodooed the cooking.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Have you?
Could you imbue the cooking with magic?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, no.
Just a little bit of LSD.
Last time we did that, I'll have you know I turned into a giant scorpion.
True.
So last game was pretty talky, but I think that we had some good role playing moments. You guys got back to the Marlowe estate and mainly talked about whether or not you wanted to trust James Marlowe's wife, who you suspect might be a giant bird in disguise or something like that. And
Marlowe described the shadowy creature to
Kingsley.
Yes, that was an important point.
Yep.
Yeah, and you all had a little weird night time emission.
Yikes. All about his wife.
You all had weird
That's awkward.
dreams. Well, Ryan didn't.
that's true.
Or rather, Les didn't have a dream so much as he had a chat with his buddy.
Yeah, I had a visitor.
But you all had weird encounters at night. And I think that before we jump right into the role playing, you guys wanted to kind of talk out of character about what might be the next step. Take it away.
Yeah, that just kind of jogged my memory, though. Do you think that Kingsley remembered Silas's description of the smoke monster from the factory when?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I think.
I just wanted to bring that up. That's all.
Yeah, and if he may convey that, or at least maybe make the connection, or connect you and Marlowe to talk about it.
Yep.
And on that, bear in mind, Kingsley's recommendations are not necessarily going to be
Do not reflect what is the best option
Yeah,
for
right.
the party. Right. Yeah, I think that's probably why it's good for us to have an out of character talk right
Yep.
now.
Eventually, one of us is just going to shoot him in his other leg.
That and yeah, I mean, you might have ideas about what other people have for information that you want to riff off of. But I think there had been talk about investigating the secret tunnel under the house.
Yep.
Which you have now located. So probably taking a sledgehammer to that and then seeing where it leads. But there was also talk about trying to go to the church, which is but you guys were concerned about basically walking into town.
Now, if somebody had a Gatling gun, say, or a large amount of explosives, we could just barricade
You
the
could
church
just
and
blow up
yeah.
the town. I mean, honestly.
It would be like we just prep the terrain around. We'd bury all the explosives, and when they come in,
That's how 14-year-old us would have handled this campaign. 100%. I mean, how many times did we use grease and burning hands?
well, after Braveheart, we just
Yeah.
that's the whole thing.
So what are you guys thinking?
I think looking into the tunnel itself is probably useful, especially to see whether or not someone else is preparing on the other side for any kind of shenanigans. But I also think that going into town is probably very dangerous. So either we do it at night and try to get like some information from the church if they're having a meeting at night, if we can get close and just hear what's going on.
Maybe we could send in a spy.
He's looking at Dan.
Good idea.
Silas is the spy.
The other question I
went
had,
well last time.
Yeah. The other question I had: do you guys think there's any merit in telling Marlowe that his wife is a monster?
I don't think that'll go very
Alleged
well.
monster.
Allegedly. I don't know if, I don't know if our
I was just floating it.
information is as rock solid to drop that on Marlowe without
We can
giving him evidence that is
We-
the case, you know?
we can pinpoint her at the train tracks, but that's it.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Did
And
he
that's
see
our
those
word.
handprints?
Yes,
He did. Yeah.
He did.
Interesting.
Well, you know what? He saw them from a distance. He didn't walk like out onto the mud.
Yeah.
So he saw that there were handprints, and he knows that you guys mentioned it.
Regardless of what we believe is a part of the story, a man is not going to believe his wife,
Yeah.
is a monster
Without, like,
because
literal-
we saw handprints with two rings.
In a couple dreams.
And Jake, when the train comes into town, I do want to check the crates
Okay.
of my negatives.
Cool. And Matt, we had talked about you wanted to do tarot readings.
Yes. Yeah. I was
Okay.
kind of waiting to see Marlowe
Do you want to
again
try
this
to?
morning, but yeah.
You're going to try to do that in this game?
Yes.
right, cool.
I was thinking probably evening time, but if we're going to sneak into the town at night, I don't know.
Do you guys want to try to sneak into the town at night to go to the church? I mean, that's an interesting way to do it. Little stealth mission. We haven't had one of those in a while.
I could be down for that.
So you could like investigate the tunnel during the day, do the tarot reading, and then at night try to sneak in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. I don't. Okay. Well, cool. Maybe we should jump in at where exactly did we leave off at breakfast?
Yeah.
We were discussing as how many lives
The morality of what we're doing.
Right.
could be lost.
Yep.
And I guess to slightly extend the meta, if this comes up like role playing wise, I think Kingsley's point of view would be like, what is there to gain? We're trying to protect Marlowe.
Yeah.
So like the argument has to be about what the information would benefit, unless it's also the idea that I think it's going to be hard if it's should we be on this side or that side for some people.
I think the goal, right. I don't think that, I don't think that's even the goal for anyone. I think the goal is find out what the motivation of these people is.
Yeah.
Right.
I think and I don't know if you're angling it this way, Matt, but like the only person who has suggested like, hey, there could be, what are the two sides, and are the lives that are being sacrificed or lost worth Marlowe's? I think all of us have been pretty much in the Marlowe camp, the four of us over here.
Right.
So, I mean, and you might just be posing it as
I think Noah's
maybe
he's teetering, but I don't think that's the other part of it is that every time we've encountered anybody involved with this, they have basically attacked first. So it's hard for him to justify them being in the wrong.
Yep.
Especially knowing James for as long as he has.
I think Benton's bringing it up more is like why is it happening? Not like why,
why should we do it? But
why is it, like what is going on? Because he's got a son, so like if it happens to him, and like it's gonna happen to his son again if we stop, like. You know what I mean? Like, what is going on behind all of this? Is it a spiritual curse of some kind? Like,
why is it worth this many sacrificed lives?
Yeah, like, because for all intents and purposes, like he's kind of like a cleric in a way. Like, he's not necessarily, he's like religious. There's got to be a good and balance, a good and evil. They're at odds between each other, and like he wants to make sure that he's not actually serving evil. The devil, the greatest devil ever, the greatest trick he ever pulled, convincing you he didn't exist. Like, if he's going down a path that's going to cost a whole lot of lives, like he just wants to know why is it?
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Cool. All right, so pick it right back up at breakfast. James walks in right after that comment about how many will die, and he grabs some food off the table. He doesn't look like he got much sleep, and he takes a bite, and he looks at you, Matt, at Benton, and he says, "You cook this?"
I did.
Oh, haven't had any of your cooking in a while. I don't know how you get the grits just the way they are.
Time. Everything good takes time.
How are you doing, Marlowe? Did you get enough sleep?
No, not enough. Not so much, but well, I'll be all right. I find I need less and less sleep these days.
Do you dream?
Sometimes. He looks at you like you kind of are waiting for him to elaborate, I assume.
Yeah. If he doesn't, he's not going to push, but.
Yeah, he says, I have this dream I keep having, actually. It's a sword that's on fire, and I'm wielding it, fighting some unseen enemy. It's a powerful weapon. But the longer I wield it, the more it burns my hands. Does that mean something, Benton?
Sometimes a dream is a dream, huh?
Well, what's the plan for today?
Well, I think we found the tunnel. The Underground Railroad used your house. We will have to perhaps take down parts of the wall in the basement, but we want to make sure that there's no trickery going on the other end.
All right. Well, that this could be good. If we're attacked and we have to retreat, it might be a way out of the house unseen.
Yeah, perhaps we can stage some sort of, maybe some horses or something.
But isn't this information? Isn't the townsmen know of this?
Yes.
I think it's more important as a matter of defense. I worry this town is full of miners.
Well, Walter Tandon knows of it, but he may not know that I know of it. I was quite willfully ignorant of what happened here.
Well, we could use that as an advantage. If they think we don't know, then that is a good place for an ambush. If it comes to that,
Definitely worth looking into.
We?
And then there is the question of these church meetings. I kind of look towards you, Burke.
Yes, I think have I mentioned this to all of you with the young man, the worker?
yeah.
Yes. Well, what about it? I mean, I do think it is reasonable to think that it's tied to this conspiracy.
I would like to investigate.
It would be good to see what they are saying in there, what their reasoning perhaps is.
It could be long odds that they are meeting on this very night, but if they are planning an attack, that may be the very place they choose to meet.
The meetings, from my understanding, were fairly irregular, but if it is connected, if anything would drive another such assembly, it would certainly be the loss of so many of this group.
12 of their numbers did not return home this morning. I think that will raise an alarm and cause a conversation between whoever remains.
Don't believe that any of us here would be given an invitation.
Nein. And perhaps even to that point, we cannot be seen in the town in the day. I think there are too many people, too many eyes.
Silas is nodding his head. I think something more subtle would be in order in the evening when it's dark.
At the very least, this is an opportunity to find out what conspirators remain, put faces to them, know who our enemies are.
Seems a great risk when this is as you said it yourself, James, a fairly defensible position with, would you say, sidelines and fortifications and whatnot?
I do believe that information could be our truly greatest defense.
Even in a defensible fort, you still send a recon out to patrol to see where the enemy is. You do not haul up.
It's how I served you in the war, General.
He nods. He says, well, I agree it is a large risk. I don't think that all of us need to go. Maybe just a few.
I can go with you, Mr. Keene, if you think I could provide some assistance.
I would appreciate your company. Both of you. No, I'm kidding.
He says, perhaps 3 of us remain at the house and 3 of us go.
Yeah. And there is another thing.
Sounds splendid.
James, you need to get your family ready. When the train comes, you will be on that train. We are leaving Black Valley as soon as possible.
Should have listened to my wife. She made the same suggestion months ago.
Even if it only buys you time, time is what we are running out of.
It is now the 23rd of December.
I think we can get that cannon out of the ravine. Put it on the caboose.
We will. I'll have my wife pack bags for them. We'll travel light.
No one nods. Well,
It's a shame to uproot the children on Christmas, but far the lesser of 2 evils.
You are such a fucking politician.
Are you saying there's a war on Christmas?
goddamn cults trying to take our Christmas away.
That's what this is. It's very un-American by its nature. And
Just another attack on Christmas, on our traditional land.
this goes well beyond you, James. This goes right down to our Christian ethos as a nation, as a people.
Hurts so bad.
Marlowe,
My ears
1878.
are bleeding.
Marlowe and Burke, 1878. Could you have that printed?
Rutherford B. Who?
He says, well, conductor's a good man. I'm sure that we could convince him to bring us wherever we like. The question is, do we continue on west or do we return to Baltimore, I suppose?
There are more travel options if we go to Baltimore. There's a hub of train activity. We could even get on a boat. Head to Europe.
You can get awful far from here in 10 days.
Yeah.
He nods. Well,
Perhaps I can help. Maybe before we go, I can ask the ancestors, huh? Maybe do a reading for you and your wife.
a reading? What do you mean?
Ask the spirits through the cards. Tarot.
Kind of nervously laughs. He actually looks at Kingsley and he says, "Well, I suppose that it couldn't hurt, and I asked you all here because I wanted another perspective, and this certainly sounds like another perspective. You asked that me and my wife be present?
Oui. Maybe Adam as well. If there's a curse on the males of your family, it could be on him too.
I mean, he's just a boy. I don't know if he would be appropriate for him to see such a thing.
I
So
understand.
soon before Christmas. How old is that?
10.
I understand your hesitancy, but if you want answers, huh? No one else in your family escaped from this, no matter where they were. No matter, he'll look around the room at everybody with rifles around. No matter how locked in they were.
On the subject of Adam, I have one more favor to ask all of you. If this goes the way it has, I just ask that you find the source of this and ensure that my son never has to worry about this. Or at the very least, be a guide for him. And tell him what legacy he looks to inherit.
You have my word, Mr. Marlowe.
Yeah.
I'll speak to my wife about bringing him. How about in the parlor after lunch?
If that works for you.
Very well. And feel free to break down walls in the basement, gentlemen. I'll be upstairs. He takes some food with him and leaves.
Well, Noah gets up and stretches. Shall we?
Yes, we begin.
Guys all head down to the basement.
Yep.
All right. Someone want to roll Ben Bar's lift games?
I'm not very strong.
Oh, I miss second edition D&D.
Yeah.
You don't need to roll for that, obviously. You find
The wall defeats you. You guys suck.
just don't.
Does anyone,
I could John Henry my way through. Don't worry about that.
Who is the strongest of you, though?
I think
Just
Max.
curious.
my guess is Beauclaire.
yeah.
I got 3.
Whoa.
Yeah. Everyone else is like
Yeah,
2 or
two.
1.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
All
were
right.
bred this way.
Wow.
Yikes.
Don't cut the truth. It's fucking censorship, bro. Freedom of speech. It's America, right? That's what you guys represent.
You all make your way down into the basement, following Benton, who picks up a sledgehammer at the bottom of the steps and walks over to that fireplace. As you watch him break the rock away,
Well, they move all the presents somewhere
yes,
else.
you move all the Christmas presents out of the fireplace.
Make sure they're
Who
still
has the
hidden.
most presents? I'm gonna count.
Definitely the boy.
yeah.
Adam has the most presents. Yeah. As you watch him break the stone away, Kingsley, you can't help but think how did he know this was here? I mean, you know, what does he see?
Yeah,
And
I think
kind of makes you think like, what did I see? Maybe it's rubbing off.
Kingsley's just kind of standing at the foot of the stairs, watching, and probably considering that.
You break away some of the stone and wait a few minutes for the dust to settle, and then you light a few lanterns, and you see that this opening that you've created drops down about 6 feet into this large room, a deeper basement, basically. And it looks like it has not been used for a few years. It's empty. There's nothing in here. It's been pretty thoroughly cleaned out, in fact. But you do see on both ends of this large rectangular room hallways that lead in both directions. You know that one way is going to lead you south back towards town, and the north passage you follow for a few minutes and find that it leads to the right beyond the tree line, north of the house, pretty well covered with brush and stuff that has kind of grown over it.
It looks like it's an escape route at least, huh?
Yeah. Is there any, perhaps, can you see any tracks in the dirt here that maybe are new?
Heading back into the town?
Aye.
I'll take a look.
Sure. Give me a roll. Investigation. And what do you think? How about intelligence?
That's not good for me, but I'll try it. I do have tracking, though.
So you get one more for that?
Yep.
Oh, would that be under survival? Or so. I got 2 successes, though.
What the fuck? Nice.
A 9 and a 10.
You don't find any tracks. It doesn't look like anyone has come through here in a long time. What you do find is a small marking carved into the wall that you don't know what it means. You don't recognize it. Matt, when Benton sees it, you know immediately what it is. It's symbols that were used to identify that a place is safe and that they will house you and feed you along your route.
It's been a while since I seen these. They're left by us. They're ones that go north to Canada. He'll kind of rub his fingers on it. His blistered, gnarled fingertips into this wood.
Does anybody else remember being a kid and actually thinking there was a underground railroad that ran for hundreds of miles?
Yep.
I'm thinking like, where did all the smoke from the engine
Look at the trains down there.
Nobody figured this out.
It's very efficient, though.
And that's how the subways were born.
That'd be better than our current.
Oh shit!
Maybe Elon Musk was onto something.
The old boring.
Jet tubes.
Yeah.
So you guys start following this tunnel, which heads towards town. As you make your way through, it is clear that this was probably a mine shaft at one point. They would do these like kind of exploratory mine shafts where they just kind of dig in a straight line until they hopefully find something. And, knowing that there's a lot of coal in this valley, it makes sense that they would have checked here. But this one was just never filled in or never collapsed. And eventually a house was built on top of it. And you keep following it, and none of you are dwarves, so you can't really tell, but it is slightly pitching up. And eventually you get to a point where you can see a little bit of light on the other end. Who's going first?
Not it.
I think Noah's up front.
Okay.
I'd probably be up front as well.
All right.
Is it like one person wide, or is it?
Yeah, it's like one person wide.
Yeah.
So Noah, followed by Benton.
Yeah, Noah has his rifle out.
Okay.
Now.
Kingsley's been
Light.
trying to think of excuses of why it would make sense for someone to stay behind and hasn't come up with a good one yet.
He's just all the way in the back.
There is light up ahead.
We should be quiet.
Yeah.
We don't know where it opens up.
You make your way down this tunnel a little bit more, and you see that the light is coming through a wooden door. There are pretty wide cracks between the boards and coming through the bottom of the door. And on the other side of the door, you hear a whistling sound. And you realize that it is a tea kettle.
Okay. This door is like straight ahead of us.
Yep.
Just like built into the end of this tunnel. I like hold my hand up for everyone to stop. And I just listen to this tea kettle go off. Does it stop?
Yep, it stops. You hear someone shuffling around on the other side.
I look from you to Benton, looking kind of in between the two of you.
I sneak up to the door and try to look through the cracks.
Go ahead and roll dexterity plus stealth.
I have no stealth, but it's fine. I have good dex. 2. 3. Sorry, 3. That was 1.
I got none.
Sneaky.
Nunsacola.
You put your eye right up against this board so that you can see between the cracks.
It's like the bottom of the, or is it in the door
Either
itself?
way.
Yeah.
Either way. Yeah. And you see a man moving pretty slowly, making himself tea. You can't make out a lot of features because you're looking through a crack in a door. But you know it's a black man, and you know he must be pretty old because he's kind of hunched over. He's moving pretty slowly.
Yep.
He seems to be the only person in the room.
It's inside.
It's inside. It's pretty brightly lit. There's a lot of daylight coming through the windows.
Yep.
And he's kind of silhouetted by that daylight, so you can't make him out too well.
Do I get any sense of the room beyond what it looks like?
You think it's some sort of kitchen.
Kitchen. Okay.
Yeah.
I go back to where these guys are kind of stopped. And do I think I'm far I get far enough away that
Sure.
I
sure.
can whisper.
He's old.
One man making tea. He's a black man. There is a kitchen ahead. He is right outside the door.
Does it look nice? Yeah, fancy.
A little bit.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe it's Mr. Tantan.
Is this the man who showed you? Yes.
Well, he's the one I saw in the dream, but he's the one I talked to, yeah.
He was the one that was with James's father, was he not?
Yeah.
In the tunnel collapse way?
No, when he
the
was
attack.
ambushed.
Okay.
Perhaps this is our chance to learn more of the motivations of those. Perhaps we should take this man with us, ask some questions.
Yeah, you want to kidnap him?
Well, I mean, you did say he knows about the door, right, Mr. Beauclaire?
He must.
It did in his house, huh?
And if we are to believe anything of this conspiracy, then there was more to his death than at the hands of natives. I mean, if we're wrong, then we simply let him go and...
What's he going to do? Bring us to court?
If this
Maybe
is
tip our hand for tonight. You take him, they lock a church down. When they can't get more answers.
Well, this is a way to... If he's a part of this, then this is a lot easier than sneaking into a meeting room full of conspirators. This is an elderly man.
It is also a blatant action of war.
Mr. Keene, there are nearly a score of dead bodies. I think forcibly taking someone to ask them questions is the lower on the scale of crimes that have been committed here.
Yeah, he
It's
don't
not
want
this-
to talk, huh?
It is not the scale I worry about, it is the timing.
Well, what Kingsley says is true. This is probably a good opportunity to get information, more so than trying to listen in on the church when it is happening.
Okay.
You want to make a move now?
He is alone, as far as I can tell.
Monsieur Kingsley, lead the way, huh? Is your plan?
I'm more of the planning type, Mr. Beauclaire. It was just an idea.
Mr.
If you
Marlowe,
have-
he lead from the front. He's a good example. Go ahead. And you're just gonna see him smiling.
We're all aware I am no Mr. Marlowe.
Benton, you spoke to this man before, yeah?
Oui.
Perhaps he will be taken aback by seeing another face. Friendly face, perhaps. We can get him before he raises any kind of alarm.
If you think it's better to simply ask him questions in a peaceable manner, then by all means do so.
You can kind of just make out Silas shaking his head. I don't know. We may be desperate here. It may be a time for action.
Perhaps we can roleplay for another hour and a half.
I'm just listening. I'm just a listener right now. It's good.
Well, if this is the action you want, I'll follow your lead. But
Information. It's what we need. Yes?
Yeah.
Then we agreed. You see Silas pulling a gun out of a holster.
Kingsley puts his hands up for a second and stops you and says, Mr. Beauclaire, you are as much a part of this as all of us. Now give us counsel and tell us if this is an unwise course of action, what would you offer instead? We are a bit desperate here. And if I've failed to listen to your perspective before, then give us counsel.
I do not know the right course of action, but I know I do not want to hurt this man, huh?
Then perhaps you should be the one to speak with a kinder voice.
Okay, I will try, but I don't know how easy this will be. We are coming through his wall in the kitchen. 4 white men with guns. You must understand it is be very intimidating no matter what friendly face he sees.
How about you go on your own? We will be here for any other complications, yeah?
Oui.
He knows that this tunnel is here and where this door leads. We are merely exploring it as a means of exploring a possible vulnerability of Mr. Marlowe. That's all it has to be. And if that does not work, we can adapt.
You see Silas lower his gun. Very well.
Oui.
We must pray this does not tip our hands.
I hope he fucking blasts Matt as soon as he walks in. His hands down.
But trying to say I'm not really the best with talking and manipulating people
Diplomacy.
for information. I don't know if you heard. I have
I'm just trying to
3
force you in a
strength and
position
a
where you-
4 stamina. I'm gonna let you wear all those other points are lacking in this, but yeah, I'll lead the way.
All right, Matt. What are you doing? You gonna go knock on the door?
Fuck. I'm trying to think of how to not terrify an old black dude. Yeah.
Okay. You go over to the door and you realize that he's left the room. He made his tea and then went to the parlor. When you went and spoke to him, he did the same thing. So, I mean, it's pretty early, so it's not weird that he's doing this. But you knock on the door, and after a moment, you hear him say, "What the devil?" And then after a moment, he says, "Who's in there?"
It is me, Monsieur Tantin, Benton Beauclaire. I saw you use this tunnel. Well, maybe
hold on a second. All right, I'll open the door. Hold on.
oui, I am mon aunt.
Is this a dead straight tunnel, or can we back off and...
You can back off to like a support beam if you want to get a little bit of cover.
Okay.
That's what you're
meant,
thinking.
I meant more out of sight.
Oh,
Yeah.
if you just back up, I mean, it's so dark.
darkness,
Okay.
Yeah.
It takes him a moment to open that door.
But I'll
You
also get
hear
cover.
him prying a board off. And once he gets it open, he lets it swing open and he steps away. And you see that he has a double barrel shotgun. He's not pointing it directly at you. It's pointed at the ground, but in your general direction.
Both my hands up, sort of in front of my chest.
He says, "What the hell are you doing in my kitchen?"
Well, that is a very good question. I followed a dream. May I come in?
Yeah. Tea?
Oui.
He makes you a cup of tea, still holding the shotgun, and he puts it at the kitchen table, and then he leans the gun against the wall, and he walks into the other room to get his tea and then comes back. He's alone. And he sits down at the kitchen table with you.
Monsieur, I do suggest you do not keep that too far away. I tell you I'm not a threat, but there's...
Do you think you're talking loud enough for everyone to hear? Just curious.
no, probably not. I
Okay,
would.
you say
I
this
probably
kinda
would have
on the
let him
quiet
into
side?
the parlor. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, sure. Then you kind of gesture towards the parlor. He follows you. He brings the gun. But again, he just leans it up against the wall when he gets in there. And he go on.
I have found this place very strange, huh? People always tell me when they find out that Bayou is my home, they say, oh, many evil spirits there, huh?
There's evil everywhere.
Oui. The more I travel, the more I see that. It is a little in everybody, huh? We all do things maybe we regret, huh?
I suppose that's true. There's a little bit of evil in everyone. I always thought that.
Hmm?
I know you have your own ways, but do you know much about the Bible?
Oui, I do.
You read it?
Oui. The Québécois, they bring it down.
Do you know about this they call original sin? Have you read about that?
Oui.
This idea that we're born with this evil because of those that have come before us.
Oui. I do.
It's more true in some than it is in others.
I have seen that firsthand, huh?
Well, you're here. You followed that tunnel. I suppose you think you have some idea of what's going on and have questions.
You are partially right, huh? I have many questions.
Are you alone? Or the other ones, your friends, are they in there? He points back to the kitchen.
You think I would come alone in this town?
Well, you came in here alone. So I don't know. I don't really know you, Mr. Beauclaire.
Oui, well, if you know anything, know why I am here, yeah, is to protect Mr. Marlowe, and you know,
Sorry, pause right there. the rest of you, you're having trouble hearing them.
Yeah.
Actually, at Tandon, you hear every like third or fourth word, but you have to get a little closer if you want to hear.
Silas will creep towards.
Anyone else?
Oh, yeah, I'll come along.
All right.
Yeah.
You don't have to like get into the kitchen or anything, but you had kind of all backed up so that you were out of sight. And
I think Noah's going to play rear guard
yeah,
just in case
okay, all right.
shit goes down.
How about Mr. Burke?
Rear guard.
Rear guard.
Yeah, all right.
Big rear guard guy.
So Les and Silas sneak up a little bit so that they can hear.
As a tactician,
All
I
right.
understand.
All right, sorry. Carry on, Matt. Where were we?
Well,
So what can I do for you, Mr. Beauclaire?
you should know, this original sin it is true, no? This is why I follow voodoo. For the light cleanse the darkness from my soul. I will not lie. No. They are here. In the tunnel. No, you can trust me. Can I trust you?
Yeah, I suppose you can. He reaches over and gets the gun and just puts it across his lap.
Do we hear that exchange?
Yeah.
I kind of stand up straighter, like probably like having been creeping forward.
He says, "You can trust me, but I need to tell you, Mr. Beauclaire, I have lived in this country since I was a very, very young boy. And I am proud to say that never have I been in chains, and never will I. If your friends come out of that tunnel and try to do that to me, well, I'll take as many of them down with me as I need to."
You definitely hear that.
I promise you, I will let no man put chains on you. Then they'll never put chains on me again.
Well, I have a feeling that after I tell you what I'm about to tell you, they might not feel the same way.
I push the door open to the kitchen.
I take my chains out.
Did you write that on your character sheet?
No.
Melee weapons.
I'm going to use my flashback ability.
Nice. Sorry, where were we? When I tell you what I'm about to tell you, they might not feel the same way.
Yep. And I push the door open.
He says, you want to know about Blake Marlowe,
Oui?
the Indian attack?
I come in and I have my arms folded, and I kind of lean in the doorway, like on the door frame.
Like if he turns his head a little bit, he'll see you? Or you mean like the tunnel door frame?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. He says, I always felt bad about what happened to those poor people. It wasn't the plan. They weren't supposed to be blamed for it. I suppose someone had to be blamed, but the Indians that they hung were just innocents. They were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they took the fall for what we did. But I don't regret what we did. I regret that innocents had to die, had to be blamed for what we did, but I don't regret it.
Oui?
It had to be done.
What?
I don't think you would understand. Maybe you would. Maybe more than anyone else. It seems to be the sort of thing that you're accustomed to. But the others, I don't think they'll even believe it. It's the sort of thing. It's the sort of thing that seems like it only happens in Bible stories. It's the sort of thing that you can only know and believe if you really have faith. I grew up my whole life knowing that I would have to do that eventually, and I was close with Blake. We were good friends. And I always knew that the day would come when I had to pull that trigger. And I did it because I believed.
Who? Your parents? Your father? The church?
I suppose all of us. I've always known. It's not my place to tell you more. If you want to know more, you need to talk to Benedict Stewart. He's the priest.
Maybe
Also the only
here.
man in this town who's older than me.
Another man of God, huh? Maybe they believe someone a little lighter.
Well,
They are not fools, my companions. They
you might have a point. Some of them might believe me. But when things come from someone who you look like, they're easier to believe. And when they come from a man of God, then they're even easier.
Oui. If only they work for me sometimes, huh, Mr. Tandan? My God, the same God, but he look a little different.
I know there'll be talk of justice and trials and whatnot. Or maybe not trials. But I think I've seen enough of this world. I'm not going to go through all of that. They come for me, I'll die right here in this chair. Was really hoping I wouldn't live long enough to see another Marlowe taken.
You know why? There's a way to stop it, huh? Is it just always down the line? Blake, James, Adam?
I'm sure there's a way to stop it.
What?
Oh, I'm sure there is a way to stop it. But is that more humane? You want to go up to that house and kill a 10-year-old boy? That'll stop it. I told you the first time you came to this house, most of the young men outside of this house would happily take the life that the Marlowes have. 50 years of riches and privilege. 50 years with a timeline on it, with a end date, is better than what most of them get. They're lucky if they get half as many. Hell, you were in the war. Half as many, a quarter for some. I suppose that's how I justify it. The boy gets to live his life until his time comes. That's all we all get. It's just that they know when that time is.
And what about Dawson, Baker, Willis? The others at the shed? How many of them?
How many of them, they understood why they were doing what they were doing, just like I did so many years ago with Blake. Blessed are the peacekeepers. Anything else?
I don't think so.
I glance back down the hallway. You all staying put.
Kingsley's making a mental roster of his dream cabinet for the Marlowe administration.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan, I'm on your shoulder and I'm kind of itching to.
Do you just drop your gun?
Yeah. Oops.
You're itching to like charge forward.
A little bit. Yeah.
You're like right over his shoulder.
Yeah.
You feel a hand on your shoulder, and it is Wakara.
Mm-hmm.
And he says,
I attack whoever.
you know, yeah. And he says, he almost as if you were a skittish horse. He says, "Whoa there, calm down."
Be one less.
Do you?
Not that one. Those ones.
Yeah.
Cultist.
Tandon says, well, I suppose that's all I have to say about this. You want to know more? Go to church.
When I hear that, I take a step back into the tunnel, and I kind of square like to him, and I put my hand on his shoulder, and I kind of flick my head back towards the tunnel.
Do you know what it is that protects him? That is opposed to you?
I don't. I don't know anything about that. Never heard anything about that in the past. Whatever it is, it's new.
Oui. I'll talk to your priest, Father Stuart. Merci beaucoup for the tea.
He nods to you. As you walk past him, sitting in his chair with his shotgun over his shoulder, you notice tears streaming down his face. You make your way into the kitchen and leave.
Before I actually like exit through that door, I'm gonna look back, put my teacup on the counter. Mr. Tandem, I want you to know, no matter what happens, you are a good man. The Bondi, he will have a good place for you. Good luck. Keep it close.
Kinda does that old man thing of waving over his shoulder. Yeah, exactly. Ryan's got it.
Close the door behind him as he walks into the tunnel.
All right. Well, then.
Yeah. What do we do? Do we just... I assume you... Well, everyone has probably told us what you guys were talking about.
Meet back up in the basement.
Yep. Do we just go to the church? Talk to the priest?
No, I don't know. Maybe.
Matt, you got the impression that he's probably not. I mean, he's 70, which in 1871 is basically like being 100.
He's
70.
70.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's like he probably isn't involved in any of this stuff anymore. Like you don't think he's going to meetings or like fucking setting up militias to like ride out. Like he's at the point of like, you know, that guy's cool. He knows what's up, but like he just sits in his house and drinks tea. So you don't think he's gonna you don't think he's gonna go fucking tell anyone that you came to see him, or anything like one way or another. He's just fucking gonna sit there and drink his tea.
Live as long as he can.
All right, so we're assuming we're back in the basement and we've caught each other up on everything that was exchanged.
Yeah, can you repeat everything now, Matt?
Absolutely.
Because Les and Silas heard most of it too.
Yeah. Between the three of them, you catch it all.
It was a lovely porcelain china. It had blue lotus flowers on the saucers.
So, but basically, I mean, he more or less admitted to being part of this conspiracy.
He did,
but no reason as to why it exists.
Correct. Yeah.
Talk to the priest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the priest would be as accommodating as our friends here, especially after what happened last night. Or was the night before?
But
he is a man of God, no?
Yeah.
He follows the good book. That's what Mr. Tandem said.
A God.
I think he follows his own book, Mr. Beauclaire.
He believes that he's in the right.
I'm not as familiar with the good book as most of y'all, but I don't think there's anything like this in there.
No. There are evils in the world, in the book, evils that are vanquished by the good believing Christians.
Oui.
Yeah, and some of those were saying to be following the book in Salem a couple 100 years back, and I think, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure at this point in history, we already knew that was pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that anything this man would tell us would make me feel otherwise. Not that I do not want to know what their motivations are, but I mean,
Is it worth the risk, as you're saying?
I see two options. Either we sit down in a parley, or we try to learn their methods through other means.
Oui, there's a third, huh? If you do not think it is worth the time for the answers, you can always do what Monsieur Sherman did, huh? To burn it. Take it out from the coal.
Nein, that is too indiscriminate. There may be people in that church, in the families themselves, who do not know, who are not complicit in this. We need to be very exact. Yeah?
But how can you be exact if it is many in the town? It is secret meeting. The family not there.
This
They
is
be in
why
one
we
place.
This is why we need to know from the priest what is going on, what the reason is for this conspiracy, whatever it is.
Do you think that the priest's pride is so great that he would offer the truth to us if asked?
Perhaps he thinks he can convert us, get us on his side. Perhaps we can play to that arrogance.
The question is the same as it was in the tunnel. Do we meet it head on or in the darkness?
One way we are coming at him through peace, yeah? In the light, without arms, we are coming for answers and that is it. In the night, it is different. We are interluders, yeah? We are doing something that is aggressive against them.
you suggest we just walk down Main Street and knock on the church door?
I don't know. These are the options. I'm just talking them through
It worked in the tunnel.
with a man who is 70 years old. He is beyond whatever games they are playing.
Still had a shotgun across his lap, as you said. Now, if there's many more of them,
Yeah.
could be gunned down the street before we even have a chance to talk to anyone.
You see Silas' head kind of go back a little, and he says, They tried to murder us before we even reached him. I do not think an overture, one in broad daylight, will bring anything but our death.
That is, yeah. However, the answers we will get in the dark, listening to walls, may not be whole, and may not even be worth the risk. In that instance, we just hole up for the train. But then we don't know.
I think we must pursue in good faith all information available to us up until the point in which we leave this place.
If anything, it will help us help Adam in the future.
And if push comes to shove, I mean, if we have already talked in the language of war, and do not sharpshooters target the enemy's officers, the colonels and generals? And who is it that is leading this? You can't just come out and say, kill the priest. But he's kind of saying...
That's the politician way of saying, let's kill the priest.
We kill the priest.
Oui. If you want to save Mr. Marlowe, that would be the best option. No matter the cost, oui. That is the deal you made when we first got here. To protect Mr. Marlowe, you will risk everything, oui. Mr. Silas?
Didn't the old man say that to end it, Adam must be killed?
Oui.
He would be the last male of the line.
Yeah, that would end the bloodline, but it does seem like these folks are very willing to live here and
They
take-
show compassion.
Well, yeah, to take. I mean, they're living under the Marlowes. They're getting, they're doing all right out here. They got themselves a mine, a refinery. Mr. Marlowe's providing these folks with jobs, and this is what happens.
It is beyond all that. There is something. He spoke of faith, yeah? He had to have faith to understand his purpose in life, to kill Blake. There is something strong that is pushing them forward. Some strong belief in what is right and wrong.
I've always operated in the capacity that information will bring things into the light. They will help you make the right decision. That is how I wish to operate now.
Well, for information, there are the two paths. We come at them in the day, in a peaceful manner, and we come in the night, skulking in the dark, hoping for answers to our questions.
I believe the first option has been taken off the table.
So are you guys
And I'm
leaning
hoping
towards,
that Lydia is my bodyguard at night.
are you leaning towards the idea of kind of sneaking in and abducting the priest? Or
don't know
just listening?
I mean, I think that's kind of what Kingsley is edging towards. We can kind of just
Is it the
Kingsley is
information?
like, let's go fucking put a bag over his head and waterboard him
bag
until he
that
tells
motherfucker.
us.
Wow. He really is from the future.
I mean, I think Benton is definitely leaning that way now. Like we were all gung ho to jump out with guns and knives drawn on the 7-year-old black dude, but now we want to glad hand the priest. I think he's like, hey, like we you guys want to go dirty? Let's go dirty. Like
I think it was more
can do that.
like it was capture.
it was the opportunity. We came to the end of a tunnel and there's somebody on the other side.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we
Yeah.
would have done the same thing. It was
I think
literally
we
the
can do it
only
with the
living.
priest too. Like
Yeah.
I don't think we attack him at the church, but like Marlowe's going to know where he lives. Go to his house at night.
Probably lives at the
Probably
church.
lives at the church. But like,
is that what they did?
yeah.
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 No, I don't know.
So
the
sneak
rectory.
in and try to like nab him and then like interrogate him essentially.
Yeah.
Probably on the spot because you probably don't want to try to drag him
Through the
quietly
streets.
through
Yeah,
the
yeah,
streets.
yeah,
Yeah,
no.
And then what happens after the interrogation? We'll see.
we'll see.
You know, you just do a little jazz, do a little improvising.
Okay, cool. So is that the plan?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we got to go back to the house and
Do the tarot card.
I think there's got to be some tarot
Right.
card.
We're gonna do that, and then that night will be the go to the church plan. But who's planning on going to the church and who's planning on staying? Or are you all gonna go?
I mean, I guess it's kind of a meta thing.
I mean, meta game wise, I thought it in game. I thought it did make sense for Kingsley to go to try to sneak in. If you guys all want to be there, that's fine. But like meta wise, I do have things that will happen.
I think Kingsley would not think he's the
we'll
best.
do a split screen.
Craven.
Damn.
Lame.
It
Craven.
doesn't have to be 50-50, but whatever. Who's going priest hunting?
Silas will.
If anything, Noah can provide like sight cover because he's not super sneaky, but obviously he's a good shot. So
Les will go.
Les is going to
Yeah.
go. What's Benton doing?
I think Benton's gonna go as well.
Okay.
I think he
So we'll
wants
leave
to.
Kingsley at home.
Yeah.
He can guard Marlowe.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I think
Marlowe's probably going to
Benton's-
suggest that at least one more person stay back just because of
No,
the danger.
if
Noah can say then.
If you stay,
Yeah.
then we're in a like between you and Marlowe. That's a
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good team to
Exactly.
defend the house.
kill
Exactly.
team,
You know,
yeah.
we
Yep,
don't know. They
yep.
could be coming the same night.
Right.
You know,
Right. Okay.
these are all things Kingsley would definitely push towards.
All right, Noah can say it.
All right. Cool. All right. But that's a horse of a different color. So after you guys kind of talk about this for a while and come up with this very rough outline of a plan, the early afternoon comes and you all make your way to the parlor.
Do we tell
Is
James
he gonna
everything
do a
that
parlor trick?
Do you? I
we
don't know.
discovered?
Do you?
What?
Yeah, I guess. Oh, do we tell him that this guy killed his dad?
Yeah, that might not be.
Although his mom probably already revealed that to him.
No,
Or
because
maybe not.
she got.
You've talked to him about Tandon, and he never suggested.
I'm open
like,
to hearing, but I think Kingsley would lean towards telling him unless somebody else is going to kind of give a reason we shouldn't.
I think it's worth.
Marlowe is tactical. Or tactful, I should say. He won't like charge out to seek revenge. I don't think so.
How about
Ooh.
this? How about we say you haven't had the opportunity to tell him yet?
But maybe me and Noah,
And me,
or me
yeah,
and,
exactly.
Me and Kingsley will
Yeah,
tell him.
you two can tell him after everyone else has left.
Yeah.
So, James and Lydia are both in the parlor. The son is not there. Adam is not present. And the shades are all closed so that no one gets shot through the window. And they stand up to greet you. It looks like they both are having a drink to kind of calm their nerves. Think about in this time period, like tarot cards, it's probably very taboo.
Yeah.
Like what they feel like they're doing something evil, basically. So James says, well, Mr. Beauclaire, do we need to light candles or something?
Only if you cannot see the cards, but I can see pretty good. Do you
Lee
have
says,
a cloth on for the table? I need to prepare a little. But,
all right.
Make sure it's nothing too nice. May be a little damage at the end.
Yikes. She goes to a drawer and gets a tablecloth and puts it down. And she says, is there anything we need to do?
Sit. Whomever wants to go first, Mr. Marlowe, Lady Marlowe.
He says, I'll go first.
Wait.
Well, what do I need to do, Benton?
Sit. I will explain. He'll pull out from a satchel. He pulls out a large deck of cards and sets them down on the table. Reaches into that same satchel and he pulls out kind of this large, not large, probably like quart size muslin sack. He reaches his hand in and pulls out a handful of cornmeal, and on this cloth on the table, he starts drawing out a Haitian veve, which is a voodoo symbol. And he draws the symbols for some of the gods in it to kind of help guide and answer some questions, open up the doorways to the ancestors. And he'll stop, he'll sit down from Mr. Marlowe, and he'll start shuffling the deck of cards. Shuffles them a few times for him, hands them over to Mr. Marlowe. Please, I need you to put your energy in the cards. Shuffle 3 times the best you can.
He starts shuffling the cards. Does it pretty well. Looks like he's played poker a bit.
I see you still haven't lost the dexterity. That's very good. No?
It's like they're a little odd, a little larger than a standard poker card.
Oui, they look a little different too. Same.
All right, now what?
Benton will tap 3 times on the top of the deck, and he'll draw 4 cards and place them face down in a diamond position in between him and Mr. Marlowe on places inside this veve that doesn't have any cornmeal on them. And he'll point to the card at the top of the diamond and please.
So, Matt, before we continue, I've given you the list of what is about to be flipped already. And I've given you 3 ways that each card can be interpreted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So roll resolve and occult. And for every 3 successes you get, I'm going to eliminate one of those possible interpretations.
Cool.
Cool. So if Marlowe flips the first cards. The Two of Swords, but you see it reversed. I tell you, the swords, the intellect in there. This first card represents your energy or situation. First roll is, what are 2 10s? Is that?
Oh, that's 4 successes.
So 5 successes.
5 altogether.
Ooh.
All right. So I'm eliminating the first of those 3 options.
Okay.
Wait, for every how many successes?
Every 3.
Jeez.
Yeah.
This card represents a mixture of things. Inevitability. Maybe it no right choice. Maybe it is second card. It can help. This one is for the advice. He'll point to the left card on the diamond and have Marlowe flip it. And what you see is one of the major cards, the Hanged Man.
That's good.
That's a good one.
That's good. Probably means like we're just having a good time hanging out.
Yeah, we're
hanging out with your friends.
6 successes.
Oh. Eliminate 1 and 2.
Hanged Man. This can be good. It can be bad. It depends on your view, Mr. Marlowe. For you, after the swords, you mean martyrdom? Maybe like Jesus? But only advice from the ancestors. Next, this come the warning, the thing you need to watch out for. I'll point to the right card of the diamonds and have Marlowe flip that. 4 successes.
Eliminate the last one.
They warn you. They say 2 of Wands, but reversed. It is a warning of change. Maybe a warning of playing it safe, or perhaps a warning too. The last card, this is the one that mean the most, Mr. Marlowe. This tells you the future. We have seen the present, the advice and the warning. This tells you where your story ends.
Might be a good time to spend some willpower because I think you'll be getting some back.
It's the eagle with 13 arrows in its claw. What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm going to spend... That's 4. So I'm going to spend... Do I get to add it? So I got 1 10 on my roll. If I spend a willpower and get a 10, does that equal 2?
No, it's just 1
Just
success.
Wah, wah.
Wait, no, I'm sorry. Willpower...
Does it add
Auto
dice?
success, isn't it?
No, it's you roll
3 dice.
3 more dice.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
So you could potentially roll a 10.
2 10s.
So you're at 4 right now.
Well, he has a 10. He has one.
Oh, shit. 3 successes. A 10, a 7, and a 6.
All
So
right.
that's 7.
So 7 successes. All right. It's the last one.
This is the Tower card. This...
Matt, before you read that, Lydia gets up and says, This is ridiculous. And she storms out of the room. You notice, Matt, her reaction as soon as you flip the tower. She knew what it meant.
Kingsley's going to follow her.
Okay. Go
This
on.
card is... Monsieur Marlowe, I must let you know, my heart weeps for you, but he spelled disaster.
Well, it's just cards, right?
Yes. I see Mr. Marlowe, she is familiar, huh? With the card game?
I seriously doubt it. It's not the sort of thing that is proper in her circles.
Pardon-moi, my fault. Yeah. I do not mean to overstep. Perhaps
Nevertheless, she's upset.
we give it a minute, huh?
Sure. Josh?
Kingsley's just he walks quickly with his cane and tries to catch up.
Okay.
Says Mrs. Marlowe, I want to apologize.
No, I should apologize for my reaction. It's upsetting to hear what he thinks will happen.
It is, and I can tell you, not more than a week ago, my eyes would be rolling so greatly I might have fallen over in place. I've met Mr. Benton before, had a similar reading, hearing something I found quite disturbing, but I believe to just be a matter of coincidence or perhaps even ill intent, a tease, if you will. There are things that we have all seen and experienced. We're here to help James, and my friends, they've already been shot at, struck, fought with a bear. Every one of them has risked their lives. And more than that, we've risked our very sanity in addressing some of these threats. Mrs. Marlowe, there are things at play here that go beyond the understanding of this world as I knew it. Creatures. As he's talking, he's being honest, but he is also now, he's doing this all to try to read her reactions.
Okay.
In the past, he might have had the same conversation just to comfort her, but he's come around enough to want to suss out exactly why she's reacting, and he does think that she knows more than she's letting on.
Okay. Give me charisma.
Okay.
And what do you think? What skill are we using here?
Insight or subterfuge, maybe?
Do subterfuge.
I
Give
have
me
a smooth talking specialty.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
And I also, as I talk, mention things of creatures, winged beast, figures in the smoke, things that I kind of just reference things.
Women with bejeweled hands?
Someone gonna spend some willpower?
Spend a willpower.
Oh.
Do it.
10 dice, 1 success.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Woof.
Okay.
Cool.
She gets what you're saying, but like she gets what you're saying.
Yeah.
And she says, I understand what you're hinting at.
God damn it.
Mr. Burke. Perhaps we should go back in and have a talk.
I'd encourage you to keep an open mind.
I encourage you to do the same. She walks past you.
She floats past you.
She flutters.
She walks back into the room with Kingsley, who has managed to retrieve her, the hero Kingsley.
Comfort another man.
All these motherfuckers rolling 3 dice on 7 successes, fucking 12 successes.
It works well for the narrative.
Yeah, it does.
This way.
Kingsley
but she comes back in. She looks not upset. He's done a great job of calming her.
Kingsley looks a bit agitated when he walks in, like frustrated. He knows that he kind of
Overplayed his hand.
but it probably is hard to interpret.
Yeah, because her reaction isn't necessarily what he would expect.
She comes in and you come in behind her, and then she says, James, I'm feeling a bit frightened, vulnerable. We're not watching. Could you go up to the roof and take a look? Just make sure there's no one out there. He says, certainly. He gets up and he leaves. She picks up the deck of cards and starts shuffling it. And as she's shuffling it, she says, I would like to make sure that we are all on the same page here. We're all understanding. I would do anything to protect my husband.
Kingsley's eyes are flashing like dangerously around it.
My
everyone.
hand, I have my hands folded out like I was watching the tarot. I was interested. One is slowly coming out of like the folded arms and very slowly moving towards where my gun is on my hip.
She says, I believe that all of you wish to do the same, and so we are allies. I'd ask you to just remember that we are fighting for the same cause, perhaps not for the same reason. She's still shuffling the cards. But I will do anything to protect my husband.
Oui?
She puts the 4 cards into diamond pattern on the table, and then she leaves the room.
I'm super stressed out right now.
Benton was probably over at the little side table having a drink.
The top card is the Magician. This is the card that represents her. The card on the left, which is advice, is a broken family. The 10 of Cups reversed. On the right is the 9 of Wands. This is a warning. It means a last stand. And the bottom card, the most likely outcome, is the 3 of Swords. Considered one of the worst cards in the deck. Heartbreak, suffering, and grief. And that is where we will be.
All right. Everything's great.
Way out of bird bath. Crossfire. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the Nastygram RPG podcast. A few quick thanks for our badass intro music, A Wilhelm Scream. They have an awesome new album, Lose Your Delusion. Go check it out. For our outro music, Adrian Von Ziegler. All scores are by Adrian Von Ziegler and Antti Martikainen. No Dean on this arc, but if you want to listen to him, check out the great shows over at Liberty Street Geek, The Lost Drive-In, Kirking Off for your Star Trek love, and Mind Killer for some Dune talk. Lastly, guys, this is our 4th arc, and we are loving it. We have a lot more planned. To do that, we need you. You hear it all the time, but it's true. Podcasts won't exist without listeners, and we need your support and involvement. Ratings, reviews do make a huge difference, and so does telling people about the show. People that like role-playing game, people that like storytelling, anybody think that might dig this. So spread the word, spread the love, and we got a lot more coming. See you next week.